everyone. Make sure we're actually in focus. Okay, so it is a bit late here when we're filming this, so it's a little dark and I have my light on and it's blinding me and I have a little bit of a headache, so just don't mind if I'm squinting a little bit. I'm gonna aim this down a little bit more. There we go. So I felt the need to make this video because a lot of people have questions on what happened to Hunter, and also Matt and I haven't sat down and actually like really talked about what happened, because him and I were the ones that were with Hunter when it happened. So I'm just going to kind of tell you guys, we're just going to tell you guys like what happened that day and then like test results and all that kind of stuff. And obviously when you're in a relationship, it's really important when something traumatic like that happens to talk to your like partner and, you know, figure out how they're feeling. And I don't know, you guys, you know what I mean. So pretty much, well, even what day was it?
Sunday.
Was it on Sunday?
So it's only 6 days ago.
That's crazy. That's almost been a week.
Yeah.
It feels like yesterday. So last Sunday, we woke up and then Hunter, we were about to go to the store because Hunter loves his little glow sticks that we got him. We were going to go to Walmart, pick some more up, and then right when we were about to get our shoes and stuff on, Hunter was running around the kitchen table, and he loves doing that because he loves running fast like Sonic.
Fast like Sonic.
Yeah, because if you haven't seen the new Sonic movie, you should, because it's really good. But he was running. We've seen it like 150 times. Like, I'm not even joking.
It's fun.
It's a cute movie. So he was running fast like Sonic and then doing totally fine. Woke up totally fine. The night before, he had a little rough night because when he comes back, when we do transition days, like when he comes back from his dad's house or he goes from our house and then goes to like Zach's the night of, usually he goes to sleep and then he wakes up and then kind of cries and has a little hard time.
It seemed like a really hard night because I believe he was up from
like 2 hours.
Okay.
Yeah, it was 2 hours that he was up. So it was a long time. I don't think that had anything to do with it though, because he wasn't really acting like he was hurting or anything. Mm-hmm. So I don't think that the little fit that he threw or whatnot.
Yeah, but it's why you were sleeping in pretty late and not really getting up, and that's why it wasn't very long after we got up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he hadn't ate anything yet or whatnot because he doesn't like to eat like right in the morning. But we were about to go, we were about to get his shoes on, and then Matt and I were both in the bedroom and he was in the kitchen, and then we were about to walk out to the kitchen to get his shoes on. Then he ran into the bedroom and said, Daddy, my hand feels weird.
So
and then
my hand
hurts. Yeah. So Matt stuck both his fingers out like this and had Hunter like squeeze, like, so hold your fingers out. So had Hunter squeeze, you know, obviously this side and then this side. So Hunter had full strength on his right side, but on his left side, he could hardly squeeze too much. And I first in my head, I kind of thought like, oh, he's just doing that just to get attention kind of thing. You know what I mean? But like, and I was thinking in my head, oh, his hand hurts because he has, maybe it fell asleep or something. But I was wondering like, how would it fall asleep if he was just like up and running around? And hey, I asked him if he hit his hand, and he said he didn't.
The first thing we saw, I think, was that his arm looked a little flushed.
Yeah, but then his middle finger too was like really puffy and blue. I don't know if you noticed that. I totally noticed it because that happened to him once when he was like a newborn, and then it just like went away within like an hour. Like he was a few months old, but anyway,
he had no strength in his left hand.
Yeah, and then when I was like, Matt's like, this isn't good, and then I was kind of like, yeah, this isn't.
I started feeling his shoulders because my head went to how many times I've dislocated my shoulder. Mm-hmm. And I thought maybe he was running around and slipped and caught his arm a certain way, and maybe when someone gets their arm dislocated and it goes right back in, they call it a stinger. Oh, okay. So I thought maybe that happened to him. So that's where my head was at, and so I was kind of feeling around his shoulders, and everything felt like it was in place.
Yeah. And then he
Yeah.
started like doing this. And
even before that, we were like, okay, he's hurting. This isn't normal. Let's take him to urgent care.
I know. I was like, it was a matter of like a few seconds after that. I was like, you looked up at me and you go, babe, is it normal that he's drooling like that? And he like full blown started like drooling, like major drool out of his mouth.
The way I remember it, we were like, okay, let's take him to urgent care, and then you lifted him up.
Yeah.
And then he started to drool, and like I knew it wasn't normal, but like my brain wasn't processing it, and so I just said, "Is that normal?" Like, duh, it's not normal.
Yeah.
And you were like, "Oh God," and you were like,
well, then then when I said that, like, of course it's not normal, and then with the drooling, it was like I just picture his face, and he seemed so like.
He pretty quickly started getting like out of it, like confused or dizzy.
Yeah, like kind of like his mumbling thing, couldn't really talk to me, and I said, he needs his finger just started doing this, and I said, Hunter, can you try to stop moving your
we're trying to figure out if he was doing it on purpose.
Yeah, and I'm like, can you try to stop your thumb, and then from there his left arm, I think, shoulder started twitching. It's all like a
before that, you were like, we're gonna call 911.
Like we need to do yeah, because the drooling part was a thing that scared the shit out of me. Yeah. Because like profusively drooling, but kids like that, kids at age 3 don't drool like that. Like you drool when you're like a baby like that, when you're teething, but drooling as much as he was drooling, and then he started kind of like licking his lips because he was having dry mouth, but with drooling at the same time, and then he was very like lethargic, like couldn't talk to me, was just like kind of like kind of like that. And then he full blown like, Matt, I said, there's no way that we're gonna be able to drive to emergent care. Like call 911 right now, you know. And what we were about, I think we were going to call 911, but call them that we're like headed in, you know what I mean? But then Matt goes, they're sending someone out. So luckily they were here in a matter of like 8 minutes. I was like getting super impatient because with COVID they had to put all their gowns on and gloves, face mask, and all that. And I was just kind of like
a long time.
I was like, are they coming in or what? You know, because Hunter, at that point, Hunter was having a full blown seizure, and I didn't know it was a seizure. He was still breathing, which made me feel a bit better because that was my biggest fear, is that him stopped, like if he stopped breathing. You know, that was like my biggest fear. And then they told us to lay him on his back.
Yeah, you were holding him, and then when we were like getting impatient with the 911 operator, not that he was, we were frantic and thinking, well, we better just take Hunter in, and we set him on the ground, on the floor in the front, and the operator was like, somebody's already coming, so by the time you came back out, I
had Matt hold Hunter because I told myself I was in like my nightgown, and I'm like, I am not going to go in the hospital look like in my nightgown, but I was willing to go in the hospital in my nightgown because I wanted to figure out what the hell was wrong with Hunter.
We're panicking. The brain works weird.
But like I ran in there, had Matt hold Hunter while he was having his seizure, and I'm full blown in my like pants, and then have like no top on. And I'm like, I don't give two craps if the paramedics come in here and I have no top on because I want to figure out like what's wrong with Hunter. So they told us to lay him on his back.
Yeah, he was.
But I was worried because he was have so much.
Yeah, we were both like that. So so the operator was like, "Tell me when he's breathing," which was good because I didn't have the presence of mind to make sure he was breathing. I just assumed that he was because he was making some sounds.
Yeah. I would have, if he stopped breathing, obviously, I would have freaked the heck out.
Right. So we were counting breaths, doing our best, and he said, lay him on his back, but there was so much drool that we were both like,
yeah, and he was like bashing his head on the ground.
I guess I didn't see that part, but I just remembered.
Because when they're seizing, obviously they're moving. He's like moving, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we put him on his side in the recovery position, which is basically just kind of on his side so that anything in the mouth with gravity would take it out.
So I sat there the whole time with my hand underneath his head because he was hitting his head on the ground.
Yeah.
And then I had you grab like a pillow so we could lay his head on
we grabbed a blanket.
The pillow. And this whole time too, I have a family group message with like my sisters and my mom and my aunt and my grandma. And my dad hopped on there. And I just wanted them to be like a part of that. That way they knew what was going on. But it sucked at the same time because I didn't realize that. I mean, obviously I couldn't talk to them and I couldn't hear what they were going through. I'm like seeing it. It kind of looked like the paramedics was doing CPR on Hunter, but obviously they weren't. So
Yeah, it did feel like a long time for them, but that obviously we were in a sort of a panic. And
yeah,
when they came in, they asked me some questions. They date of birth and weight, and so they could get the right dose for the medicine, and they gave him a shot in his hip. And put a little breathing
oxygen
bag
thing on him.
Yeah.
I just kept whispering in his ear that
Yeah, we were talking
I was
to him that we
there.
were there. Yeah.
Because, like, I don't know if you guys have ever experienced someone having a seizure, but they're like not there. Like, they're you can't really like Hunter had no idea. Like, he was just so zoned out. Like, he was having a seizure. It's not like he could really look around, and he wasn't comprehending anything. He was like he was in his own little like world. Like,
I don't know. He seemed to sort of respond to our voices, so I don't know if he could hear us, but not really.
That's why I just wanted him to know, like, when he hears my voice, like, that I was like there. And that's one thing my parents say and my sisters were saying. They're just kind of like, you kept so calm and did so good. I'm like, I was bawling my eyes out the whole entire time. Talking about this, another reason why I wanted to come on here and talk about this is because there's a lot of times when something traumatic like this happens and people hold it in. And I'm one of those type of people where I can't hold something in. I need to talk about it because it starts like I feel like it's wrong, like not talking about it. And then but I feel like it's wrong for me. I even wrote on my last Facebook post that it's crazy because I feel like I lost Hunter and I didn't. Like, that's how like traumatic it was. Seeing him in such a like fragile state. I'm like never gonna get that. Like, I'm never gonna get that picture out of my head. And it's like, and obviously Matt was there and I had to tell myself that. And the last few days I've been trying to tell myself, like, I just had no, I'm usually one to like obviously clean the house and stuff like that. And like the last few days I've had like just no energy to do so. Like, and obviously I'm gonna go to therapy and stuff like that and talk about it. But I had to tell myself that Hunter is healthy and happy. But like when you see something like that, it like wears on you. I feel like it's so hard to say, like, it was just a week ago. I have to like give myself a break for feeling the way that I still feel. If there's someone that asks me, hey, how's Hunter doing, and I say fine, I try to make the conversation short because I don't want to like have to constantly,
I guess for me it feels almost the opposite.
Into detail.
The quick turnaround of being in like the worst moment of my life to, oh, thank goodness he's okay, to 12 hours later he's crawling all over the hospital room like nothing happened and just annoyed that he has to be there and be bored.
Yeah.
Like, that roller coaster feels like it was longer than 6 days ago. Today, when somebody asked, hey, how's Hunter doing? I had to like, oh my God, that's right. It was only 6 days ago that happened.
I hear his friends ask him how Hunter's doing, and he's just like, he's doing so much better. And then in my head, I'm like, he's doing so much better, but like, he's still like, we're still hurting. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I don't know why I feel like I don't want anyone to feel sorry for us or me for feeling the way that I'm feeling. But like, I want people to know that if I do come across, like, if I don't answer questions back, or I want obviously you to know if I'm feeling kind of not close to you, or if I seem like I'm in like a blah mood or whatnot, it's because you're
still processing.
Yeah.
That's fine.
I'm like shocked that I'm not on here like crying. I think I've just cried so much the last few days about it. When I'm alone, when I'm in the sauna at the gym, I catch myself sitting there like, tearing up and all that. But Hunter, like, I have to keep telling myself that Hunter is okay. So I guess we should explain, obviously we went to the doctors. We went to the emergency room. Hunter's seizure did last. So we have already talking for about 15 minutes. Sorry. I knew this video would kind of be all over the place. But Hunter's seizure lasted 30 minutes. And that's a really long time for the first time of him having a seizure. So I know you guys' question possibly is, a lot of people's question is, does Hunter have any other health issues? Hunter is a healthy boy. He has not had any, he's never even had a fever before, I don't think. He doesn't get sick ever. He doesn't get throw up sick ever. He's had to throw up sick. He's 3 years old. He's thrown up sick one time. And the only time that he's ever really had a cold was he got RSV like a year and a half ago. So other than that, Hunter's never had any health issues or anything like that. So this was like a complete shock that it happened. That's why I feel like it was so like traumatic, So they did the test where they gave him a CAT scan, where they laid him down, and obviously that checks your brain, right? And then they noticed that with the CAT scan. Oh no, they didn't notice anything with the CAT scan. And then the next day, they put the little things all over his head and did an EEG, and they found. I'll let you.
Zach actually put it the best. They didn't find any. How do they put it? Nothing that would indicate that there was a tumor or like a
abscess.
An abscess.
Well, they found that after the MRI. They didn't find that with the EEG.
Oh, that was right. Right.
So the EEG is like they put the little circles in their head, and then it has all the wires and stuff like that.
The CT scan found nothing that was obvious, nothing like a tumor or a.
So the CAT scan, yeah.
Right.
So CAT scan showed no abscess, no tumor, cancer, or anything like that. And then they did the EEG, and that tested his brain waves and stuff like that. And they saw some abnormalities in the right side of his brain,
which makes sense because it
was the left side of the brain
left side of the body, right side of the brain.
Yeah. So they saw a little abnormalities in there, like the brain waves and stuff like that, but it wasn't like such a scare. So they did the MRI. And man, they had to put him under, and that's always hard for me, putting him under. And then when he came to, he was such an angry little boy coming off that anesthesia. Just know that if your kid gets anesthesia, is that what we call it, anesthesia? At that age, they will be such an angry kid afterward. Plus, this really sucked because Hunter had a fast from midnight till like 2 p.m. the next day, so he was starving. But so that's a whole other story. But in the MRI, they found whatever that thing was. He has it on his phone. It's really hard for me. Medical stuff, I can't really remember like the names and stuff of all that. So I'll let Matt find it. But they found that Hunter has to be on seizure medication every morning and every night. And then if he does start having a seizure again, we have to wait. We have an emergency thing where we spray up his nose. And we have to let the seizure go on for 5 minutes, and then we use that, and then it'll help like stop his seizure. But there are seizures in kids and adults where usually starts with, if the kid has a fever, that can make a seizure happen and all that. So like I said, Hunter didn't have any of those symptoms, so it was just really shocking to them.
Right. So the MRI showed a little abnormal diffusion. He says on the left side, but they might have been mixed up on which side it was, because it would make more sense if it was on the right side to affect the left side of the body, so they might be confused about that. They couldn't clarify whether it was blood, oxygen, or whatever, but that's something we're going to have to find out in a follow-up with a specialist, with a neurologist.
Yeah, and then we were saying that it's, he had, what was it?
Oh, yeah, so from your...
No, you were saying lack of oxygen to the brain.
Right. So
to that part of the brain.
Right. So from your from the chart that you brought up, again, I think they labeled it the wrong side. They said asymmetric left hemispheric hypoperfusion. So asymmetric meaning it's not the same on both sides. They said left, but I think they meant right. Mm-hmm. Hemispheric meaning it's on one side. Hypo meaning under, and perfusion meaning like oxygenation or blood oxygen. I can't say the word. So they were saying that it looks like there was a lack of oxygen to that part of the brain, which is super fucking scary. Pardon me, super scary. To hear that.
Yeah.
Um,
That's stuff that I obviously am trying not to like
mm-hmm.
go crazy.
The fact that he got back up and 11 and 12 hours later was completely the same as he was beforehand.
Which scares me though too, because that's exactly how he was acting right before it happened too. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like
that he was normal.
Yeah, he's fine. He's totally normal, and it happened again. So he's normal again. What if it happens again? I just have these things in my head, like, what if I was buying blueberries for him at the store yesterday, and I feared, what if these blueberries gives him the seizure, and the blueberries have nothing to do with the seizure.
Okay, well that's something you got to process. I mean, I was just so relieved when I saw him start to move his left side more, and then by the time
because it was scary, his right side of his mouth was drooping right after the seizure. I don't think you saw that, but his whole right side of his mouth was drooping down. Oh,
okay. I didn't know if he was down turning it because he was hurting. Anyway, they said that that hypoperfusion probably caused a cortical spreading depression, which, from the best Googling I can figure out, is basically some brain activity that triggers either migraines or a seizure. So they don't say why or how it happened, right? They just say, hey, we think there was a loss of blood on one side of his brain and it kicked off a seizure.
Yeah.
So hopefully, whatever it was won't happen again. But if it is some kind of something that's going to happen relatively often, then yeah, we're going to have to talk about how we react to it, because losing oxygen to the brain is super dangerous and super bad. So
yeah, obviously said with the seizure lasting 30 minutes, that
luckily he was he was breathing.
Yeah.
But if there was some kind of blockage, I don't know. I when he stopped moving his left side, I was terrified that he was having some kind of stroke as a kid. Somebody, when I was talking to people at work, they said, "Oh yeah, luckily it wasn't an aneurysm or something." I'm like, "Oh my god, yeah." So
I hear way too much about that in kids, and obviously it's never good news.
Yeah, because it's like, what can you do? Like you're powerless about it. It doesn't matter how healthy you get them to eat, or it doesn't matter. There are things that you just can't control. And it really sucks.
That is like the hardest thing about being a parent.
Yeah. To do everything right and then just be powerless, right?
All I gotta say is thank God for therapy, because I'm gonna need it.
Yeah. Once I saw him climbing around, they wouldn't let me stay in the stay overnight with you, but when I saw him on the video chat and saw him just kind of showing off all those little instruments and being curious and talking and climbing.
Yeah.
And right then I was just like, oh my gosh, he's going to be okay.
Yeah, that's why we say he's good, he's a happy, healthy boy, you know, because it's just a shocker. But, like, it's still scary to know, like, what if... And I'm the type of person where... Well, not type of person. I've heard other moms experience their kid having a seizure, but I never really question... I'm always like, oh my gosh, I couldn't even imagine, you know? But now that it's happened to me, I'm just like, wow, now I feel bad for just, like, kind of, hey, so, you know, your kid had a seizure. You know what I'm saying? Like, our neighbor that I watched, like, she has 3 sons, 2 of them has seizures. And I'm like, I don't know how you even...
Well, I mean, once we get educated on it, once the neurologist can tell us about it, we're gonna learn to deal with whatever his condition is, because there's...
Luckily, they did say that since this one was more of, like, obviously on his left side and stuff like that, he will have that symptom of his hand hurting before...
We'll have a warning.
Yeah. So my thing, too, coming out, and any parent that's watching this or whatnot, if your kid ever comes to you and is saying, hey, my hand hurts, or, you know what I mean?
Well, just listen to your kids, right?
Yeah. We always tell Hunter, and before even this, we always tell him, if you're feeling a certain way, if you're upset, or if your stomach hurts, or not feeling good, make sure you tell us, you know, and then
I mean,
now
that's just part of trying to get him
it's
to
like-
communicate,
yeah,
you know.
and then now he's really like,
Yeah, I was blown away
Good.
that he came and said, that he came and told us my hand hurts.
I'm really glad that he did, because if he didn't, then
We would have walked out and been like, "Where's Hunter? Oh my God, there he is! What the fuck?" Yeah.
it's nuts. I can just like go over and over in my head about like what happened.
Oh man, I'm never going to be able to forget seeing him on the floor in the front room. I mean, I'm never going to be able to forget that.
I know. It's
Like-
nuts.
To go from that low to 12 hours later, like, oh my God, he's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was able to kind of keep it together until I got to the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
I was on the phone. First person I called was my dad, and I was on the phone, and he's like, "Matt, you're probably panicking. You're probably not thinking right." And I was kind of, I'm sure I was missing some things, but like, I'm like, no, I got to get some water and some protein bars for Katie. I had to get the charger so she can talk to her friends or talk to her family and keep them up to date. And I got to do this. And, you know, I was, I don't know, 10 or 15 minutes behind you. And then, yeah, I went in the wrong entrance, but I got up there and, yeah, when I sat down across from him and all those doctors were kind enough to just to let me sit there and just be next to him while they worked, I lost it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I love you.
I love you.
Thanks for being here for me. And Hunter. Hunter loves you very much.
I love Hunter very much.
I know you. Like a lot. But if you guys have any questions about any of this, we'll try to answer them as much as we can.
We don't have the answers. I mean, like,
We don't have, we
can talk about the experience, but like, we don't have the medical answers about
We
what
have
happened yet.
a follow-up appointment Monday.
That's with a general practitioner.
Yes,
So.
but then April 20th is when we meet up with the neurologist. So hopefully we'll know more answers then. But I just want.
They've got him on. We've got a prescription for him.
Yep.
It doesn't mess him up too bad. It might upset his stomach a little bit. Might make him a little bit sleepy, but he is still able to be himself.
Yep. Be a normal kid.
A normal kid, and I'm grateful. It feels like if this was just the way it is, we just have to remember to give him medicine.
Yeah.
Then we got out so lucky.
Yeah.
You know.
And I've already thanked all friends and family and stuff like that.
Thank you, everyone who was.
Seriously, you guys were a lifesaver, because when it comes to keeping a 3-year-old entertained during COVID and not being able to like get out of the room, that was tough. It's just amazing to see how many people.
That's something I want to talk to you about later.
Care for what?
About that situation.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're going to hop off here. Yeah, again, I feel like my brain has just not really been working for the last week. I just want Hunter to be happy and healthy. So, and obviously you have to take care, as a parent, you have to take care of yourself in order to take care of your child. So we're doing the best we can. Yeah. We love you guys, appreciate you guys, and for all my YouTube people out there watching this, I'll be back hopefully doing YouTube very soon. Life has been a little crazy lately, but I'll be doing an upcoming video for that. But we always just appreciate everyone's support, and yeah, we'll talk to you guys later. Boy.